What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday?
Thursday!
It's Thursday. We are going to be talking today about what?
A sale.
A sale. What is a sale? Have we done a sale before?
No, we haven't. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's a very interesting process. How did it feel emotionally? How was the experience for you?
Yeah. I don't remember what Mentor talked about. He sold his first property and he went to the bank and then he got the money in the bank and he was just like in shock. Like, that was the dumbest thing ever. What am I going to do with this money now? And I kind of had the same emotional reaction.
The money's not even in the bank yet.
The money's not even in the bank yet, but
so it's not actually even closed
it's
yet.
not nearly as exciting as purchasing. I will tell you that. Yesterday was kind of a downer instead of an upper.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you have cash, but would you rather have cash or would you rather have an asset?
I'd rather have an asset and cash flow than cash in the bank.
Ooh. And so we'll talk about today why we actually did make the decision to sell the property, why it was actually in our best interest to take the cash in this situation. Usually not, right? But before we get into that, like, what else is going on in your life, Katie?
Yeah, we got a lot going on. We're building an ADU in the backyard.
How's that going?
It's going great. There are workers out there right now and getting the foundation poured, and some radiant floor heating is going in. So it's an interesting process to watch.
All the little coils and things going in there.
All the coils.
Pretty sweet. What about your face? You got a
yesterday I had a great 1 month post-op checkup.
What happened to your face a month ago?
I went into the doctor, it was probably about 6 weeks ago, and I had a little spot on my face, and it ended up being basal cell carcinoma. And it had to be cut off. So I went into a procedure about a month ago. It's called a Mohs procedure, and they go in and they cut it off, and then they go look at it under a microscope and make sure that there's no more cancer around the edge, making sure that they have a clean margin. Well, the first 3 times they cut, they did not have a clean margin, so they had to go back in again and again and again. Finally, they got it all, and cancer-free. And yesterday, I had my 1 month post-op check. Had a great conversation with the surgeon or the dermatologist that did the surgery, and she said I'm healing great. So, I learned a lesson I'm a shade sitter now. I'm not a sun basker like I used to be. I'm a shade sitter, and I like it.
It's awesome. And your face, how do you feel like your face is
healing great. It's healing great. Y'all can see. I posted a picture of like my post-op procedures and stuff, but it's improving. Every day it's improving. Initially it was kind of like a shock. I didn't realize that I was a person who really cared about what I looked like until my face was not as beautiful as it normally is. And then kind of rode a roller coaster of emotions through the healing process of like, oh my God, this is real. I'm going to look like this for the rest of my life. But turns out I'm healing great. And the worst part is honestly my eye dries out because my blinking is not as effective as it used to be.
And so what does that healing process look like? Is that going to heal more? Do you have to like put special cream on it? Like, what's the process look like?
Yeah. So usually it takes anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks to fully heal a scar. I just got some great silicone gel that I ordered that she recommended. So hopefully that'll minimize the scar. And then massaging scars was something that I learned yesterday to get rid of the ropiness. It's kind of a weird feeling because the nerves were kind of affected. So there's like zinging and sharpness and weird numbness still. But massaging scars helps them heal, and silicone gel.
Nice.
But in 16 weeks time, I should be 100% healed. And if worst case scenario is if my eyelid still has this silly flap right here, she can go in and basically open the flap, do a couple stitches, and re-heal.
It's like a circumcision for your eyeball.
Oh.
Wow. Well, where did you post that at? You said you post some
on my Instagram.
Some pictures. Yeah. So if you guys are not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. Logan Lee Manzanares, Kitty Ann Manzanares, and Kitty is posting all sorts of facial things going on there, and I'm always posting about real estate stuff. What else?
More interesting.
What else we got going on in real estate? So we have an ADU going on. What other projects are currently happening?
Yeah, we have a live work unit that we turned in from 1 unit it's in the process of being turned into 3 units. One of the 3 units is currently rented. We have 2 that are on the market. Potentially, we're playing with the idea of turning one of those into a short-term option instead of a long-term option, just because the layout and the way it looks and feels is, I think it would cater better to a short-term option. And then we also have another property that's being renovated as well. So we have three kind of big construction projects going on at the moment, with one pending. And again, just playing with the idea of what's going to serve the property better, what's going to serve us better, short-term, long-term, how much time do we have to devote to it, and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And so you talked a little bit about that one that's pending. When does that one close? Do you even know?
Oh, I was talking about Tracy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So we have 4 construction projects, but we actually have a new project that's actually getting ready to close next week. And so next Tuesday is when that project's closed. And we talked about this on our Invest With Us podcast, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago. And that one closes Tuesday, and we'll start construction right away.
And that's a big construction project.
$100,000 construction project. So if you guys are curious about that deal, you can go back 2 episodes ago, and we broke down how we are purchasing this project for $100,000, how we're having $100,000 in rehab. And by the end of this whole project, take about 6 months ish, we'll have a ARV, so ARV, after repair value, of considerably about $320,000. We're looking at closer to $350,000, but that leaves a nice little hefty gain, about $120,000. And what was the goal for that? Are we going to sell it? Are we going to make the same mistake that we just made?
No. It wasn't a mistake, but
it wasn't a mistake. We're going to keep it, right? And that should be a great project. We're doing that with a partner in Billings, and super excited about that. We also got the private money from someone who watched this exact podcast. So thank you guys for watching this podcast, and you guys get to participate in the deal and get to learn about how we do things, and you get to make a little bit of money along the way. So it's kind of a cool benefit of real estate, is that the margins are so big that everyone can play. So what's happening today? Is there anything cool happening today, Katie?
Today, I should be receiving a phone call from the title company saying, we have a check ready for you. Come and pick it up.
How much is that check going to be for?
That check's going to be for, I believe, $234,000.
Dang. Some sushi money.
Sushi. You want to go out to sushi?
You want to go to sushi? Buy some sushi? We're actually having people over today.
Yeah, we're having taco party.
Who's coming for the taco party?
Everybody. If you guys are in town, if you're in Bozeman, Montana, come on over. We're having a taco party.
Yeah. Invited over our teams, our vendors, people we work with, people we just like, we want to have fun with. And just a good excuse, because we just got a brand new kitchen. Now it's a way to actually mingle and to hang out with people, right? Yeah. There's enough room for people now to actually hang out in our house. So we're closing on the property today, and so we're making $234,000 of profit. How much taxes are we going to pay on that?
None. Insane. How does that work?
That's a great question. Katie, walk us through this situation of 5 years ago, how we ended up buying this first property, like how it all came to be, because honestly, you were the one who was the fire starter in this situation. Totally. It was not me. Usually I'm the fire starter, not in the situation. You were definitely. So
5 years ago, we knew we wanted to get into real estate. I knew I wanted a home to live in. Usually that is everybody's first purchase, is their primary home. And I was a W-2 employee at the time. So had good income, got pre-qualified, went out, and I gave multiple offers to multiple condos, multiple townhomes. Definitely was not in the range of a single family home at the time. So I was looking for something smaller. And
they all said yes.
They all said no.
Oh.
I got probably 6 or 7 rejections, like right out of the gates. And it was kind of devastating, to be honest. I thought that, I had a great hand that I was dealt, and I was like, yes, here we go. We're going to get in one. We're going to get in one. And everybody turned me down. It was kind of a sad happening. As a single parent at the time, we were dating, but I also had a kid. And just knowing that, maybe my future wasn't going to go the direction that I wanted it to. So,
did you ever think about giving up?
No.
Okay.
How do I make this work?
Sure.
So I started talking to people about my situation. I started telling everybody what was going on, all my rejections, what I had done to get approved, basically what my budget was. And when you tell the universe what you want, you sometimes get it. So
not sometimes.
Yeah. So
always.
All the time. So my dad's wife actually offered to seller finance her condo that she bought when the market was low and owned outright. And it seemed at the time too good to be true. I really honestly didn't know anything about real estate at the time. I didn't know what seller financing was. I didn't know what a 4.5% interest rate was. I didn't know what points were. I had no idea, but I was like, she's giving me an opportunity. I am going to take it.
Amortization rate. Still know what freaking amortization rate means.
Yeah. So we went over to my dad's house and sat down with him and his wife and went over all of this, reviewed all of the numbers, reviewed the down payment. We put $2,000 down to get into a $250,000 purchase price condo. The condo was newly built. I think it was less than 10 years old when we moved in.
Oh.
High-end finishes, beautiful granite countertops, amazing wood floors, new carpet. Just it honestly is a beautiful condo. We kind of lived a ritzy life for a few years. And she presented us an opportunity that, in my head, my rent at the time as a single mother in a 3-bedroom, granted, I had a roommate at the time with a child. I think I was only paying $650. And knowing that my rent was going to go from $650, we were going to move in together and it was going to go up. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make this purchase.
What was it going up to?
I don't remember. $1,450?
Yeah. Plus HOA.
Yeah. So all in $1,600?
About $1,650, I think. Yeah.
$1,650 all in. That was a huge increase. That was like $1,000 a month. Granted, Logan was gonna share the expenses with me. But I was like, I don't know if I can hack that. And after we did some due diligence, after we crunched some numbers, after we sat down, we said we have to do it. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Still not knowing anything, we knew that it was too good to be true, so we pulled the trigger. So in 2017, we bought the condo that we just sold today for $250,000, $2,000 down, and a 4.5% interest rate.
And 8-year balloon.
And an 8-year balloon payment.
Yep. Yeah. And at the time, again, I was on the same page with Kay. Like I was learning about real estate. I wasn't really too aware of seller financing or creative financing whatsoever. And very much so sitting on the couch, just like I didn't know any of these terms meant. And we're just like, okay. And my only concern was very much like Kate is like, how are we going to afford a $1,500-$1,600 a month payment when right now we're both paying about $300 or $400 a month, and so that we'd have to basically come with an extra $400 or $500, right? That was actually our concern at the time. Looking back on it, was that a
Thank goodness we did.
Was that a justified concern?
No.
That's very silly, right? Very short-sighted. But I think it's important to understand like where we were at in our life at that moment. My business had not taken off at that moment, right? It's funny because we moved into that house, in May of 2017? And when did the BSB, our business, start taking off?
April.
Yeah, April of 2017. So like all the agreement was happening before that, and then the business obviously it took off in April, literally 10x in that month. And so like it was just like this amazing transition where our and we moved in together. It was our first opportunity moving together. We weren't married at the time, but we also moved in together. So it was like another step in our relationship. Like everything really resorted around this purchase of this home, right? Like our whole life kind of changed.
It was the trajectory that it was the catapult to what we needed when we needed it. Funny story. So Logan, the gym 10x in a month, which is insane, right? Insane. So when your business 10x in a month, it takes a lot more work and a lot more time. And Logan was working 12, 14, 16-hour days, and I had to move all of my stuff into this new house, and I had to move all of his shit into this house as well. So here I am.
I didn't move anything.
Having a great friend help me. And I moved and granted, Logan had lived in this house for many, many years, and it was disgusting, and it was boy stuff, and it was like filthy.
So we had separate homes, right? I had my own home that I lived in for 5 or 6 years, and Katie had her own home that she lived in for like 1 or 2 years. And I was like, legitimately, I was so busy that I did not move any of my stuff. Not one, like
she didn't even pack.
I didn't even pack. Katie literally moved all my stuff for me.
Yeah.
It was nutty. It was nutty. I think maybe there was a couch that I did take from our garage into our new house.
No, you took it from the garage into the moving truck, and then we hired somebody to haul it into the house.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So that's kind of our transition, and we ended up living in that house from May 2017 till February of 2020.
Yep.
Right. And we ended up buying a new home in 2019, like December 31st, 2019, right? The home that we're currently living in right now. And The home that we're currently in right now, if you looked back at old pictures, you have seen that it was a beautiful home. It was amazing. It was gorgeous. It was an upgrade from our current home, from our previous home, right?
No.
No, it wasn't.
It was filthy. It was disgusting. It was built in 1960. I don't think it's been cleaned since 1975. There was chickens living inside. It was it was a bit of a shock going from our ritzy life in this new condo that was very nice, that was seller financed. We got a phenomenal deal on, to the ghetto.
The ghetto. So was that an easy transition for us to make? For me to sell you on like, hey, like I see vision in this 1960s red painted walls, carpet smelled like cat pee, turkey pee, dog pee, and this thing is going to be amazing. We should move. And there's only one bathroom. We have 3 girls at this point because we had another baby in that whole journey. So now we have 1 bathroom. We have 3 girls, 1 dude, 1 bathroom. That's an upgrade, right?
Yeah, it was. I put up a good fight actually, and I was like, "No, we are not doing this. Like, this is not gonna work. It's just not gonna work."
And so we ended up moving out of there. And what happened with that condo? What do we do with it?
We rented it.
Yeah. And was it a great cash flowing rental?
No.
How much did it cash flow?
About $350 a month.
Yeah. So definitely our lowest cash flowing of all the properties. But in all fairness, how much money did we put into it?
$2,000.
Yeah. So I mean, after what, 6 months, after 5 to 6 months, like it technically had paid for itself, right?
Yeah.
If you look
It's
at
cash
like
on
a cash
cash
return. But it ultimately it wouldn't. It wasn't heavy cash flow, right?
So if a dishwasher broke, if the garage door broke, if anything needed to be serviced, it was like a stinger. Like, oh, there goes the cash flow for the month.
And so as we continue to build a portfolio, our goal is never to sell, right? We never want to sell. It doesn't make sense. We want to hold these assets forever because we're in an appreciating market. And as we'll talk about a little bit later on, like it's really nice to be in appreciating markets because you get lots of gains without really doing anything, right? Just like time. After like every single day, your property makes more money just by being where it's at. And we got to the situation where, well, we have all this equity in this property. Now we have a balloon that's coming up, right? So if we go back to our terms, we got a balloon that it forces us either to sell it or refinance it. And our interest rate was, what'd you say, like 4.5%? And so at that point, it was no longer a primary residence for us. So if we had to refinance it, we would be getting investment terms. Investment terms on right now in the lending world are 4.5%, 5%. So if anything, our interest rate's going to go which way?
Up.
It's going to go up, which is going to make our payment do what?
Go up. Because
we're also going to, if we do anything, we're going to do a cash refinance. We want to harvest some of that equity, and so our payment's going to go really far up. And so we only had a cash flow of $300. Like if we were to refinance it and like max it out, what would have happened?
Yeah, we would have been losing every month.
Yeah. So it would no longer turn into a cash flow property. And with the other side of it being that we had a balloon, again, it forced us to do that. And there was one other factor, probably the biggest factor, which we alluded to in the very beginning, which is why we ended up actually selling it.
So we didn't have to pay capital gains tax.
Taxes, homie. And so here's a really cool rule. If you didn't know this, this is a writer downer. This is something to know, that if you live in a home 2 out of the last 5 years, when you go to sell it, you get, as a single individual, $250,000 of profit that is
untaxed.
As a couple, that number is actually $500,000. So we could have, if our property would have appreciated even more than it did, we could have up to $500,000 of tax-free appreciation, tax-free cash in our pockets, right? And so because we turned that into a rental 2 years ago, we basically had this timeline of whether we were going to sell it, capture all that money, or refinance it, capture some of that money, and just keep the ball rolling forward. And as we talked about earlier, because it didn't make sense to refinance because the cash flow on it just wasn't very good, it literally forced our hand. We had to sell it. I still do not like the fact that we had to sell it because it's a great property.
It's in a phenomenal area. There's a hospital going in right next to it.
Like how easy was it to sell?
We didn't even list it. We didn't even list it.
Yeah. So we have he's become a friend now. He's a realtor. He actually got us into a local investor club here in Bozeman. We got him into the Sub 2 community, which is a national mentorship. And I told him that we're getting ready to sell our property. He asked if he could list it. I told him no. We actually had another realtor who we were going to list it with, but that didn't stop him, did it? What did he do?
He brought us a buyer.
He's like, well, fine. You don't have to have me listed, but I'll bring you a buyer. And so he's like, I think I have a buyer for your property. And we went over there one time, took about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah. The buyer did a video walkthrough.
It was a video walkthrough, walked through the whole property and
put an offer
in right then and there. Right. And that was our extent to listing this house. And so big shout out to Taylor for not taking no for an answer and just figuring out how to make it work. And yeah, making the process for us like relatively, I mean, not even relatively simple. Like it was about as easy as it possibly could. Right. And so this girl who's buying it is getting a great deal on it. I think it was probably a little bit under market value, which is asinine to think. Right. But I think she's getting a good deal. We got a good deal because there's literally like zero effort on our end. We can continue moving forward. And the fact that he gets to be part of this transaction, he gets to do both sides of the deal, which was a huge win as well to see him get a nice hefty commission check, which is right on the HUD. I saw that check. So great job, Taylor. And so, so that's why we got in this position that we're in. It's because our hand was forced. We had no other choice, right?
So why is the check so big?
Why is the check so big? Yeah.
We put $2,000 down, sat on a property we lived in it for 3 out of 5 years, rented it for 2 of the 5 years. How the heck do you turn $2,000 into $234,000?
Yeah. Well, the first one, and honestly, just lucky. Yeah. Right place, right time. Like seriously, like just very, very fortunate. Would you have ever guessed or projected that property would be worth what it is today?
No. Absolutely not.
No.
100% luck.
100%. Right. Second piece of it though is, do we understand that the market we're in, Bozeman, is an appreciating market?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's the benefit of being in an appreciation market, is while our goal was number one, just to live in the house. And then after we moved out was just to get $300 or $400 of cash flow. The whole time in that journey, not only was the principal getting paid down, right? So $250,000, I think our end loan was like $226,000, right? So it got paid down, $25,000 almost, or $20,000. And of course, it appreciated the other way as well, from $250,000 all the way up to $490,000. And yeah, so we also picked the right market to live in. It'd have been very easy to be cheap and say, hey, let's go to a cheap market. And that's fine. You can probably find cash flow a little bit easier. But do you get those insane appreciation gains? Right. So I think there's always two strategies. And we're obviously have been very cash flow heavy as far as focus. But at the same time, we're also in a market that appreciates. And so we're getting the benefit of having all of our properties rise in value, with us literally just being able to manage them, make sure the properties stay in good condition, cash flow every single month. And then at the whole time, we're getting we're getting phantom money because every single day literally just keeps going up, up, and up. And I don't know if you've been watching the news. Do you watch the news, Katie?
No.
Do you guys watch the news? Maybe. Who knows? But there's this thing out there called inflation. Gas prices, wood prices, every like service prices, everything is going up or down?
Up,
right? And so does that help or does that hurt you when you own real estate?
It helps you.
Did you know that the only true hedge against inflation is real estate? How crazy is that? Like, people think of things like gold and silver and Bitcoin, but what can you do with those things? Can you buy groceries with gold?
Maybe if you go directly to the farmer, but no.
No, not really. Can you buy gas with your silver? Or
no.
What about Bitcoin?
No, maybe. I don't know.
No. I mean, eventually you might be able to, but as of right now you can't. How about your real estate?
Depends on if it's cash flowing.
Your cash flow you can, right? So you can. Do we pay for things with our cash flow?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, can you use your equity?
Not as yes, you can.
Yeah. I mean, you have the opportunity to. Do most people?
Yes.
Most people don't use their equity, right? We happen to use our equity. And so what are two strategies that we are currently using that we've used to harvest that equity?
Yeah, a home equity line of credit or a HELOC, and just a line of credit against it, or a cash out refinance.
Yeah. So those are two ways you actually can use your equity in your home. And what can you do with that?
Whatever you want.
Can you buy sushi with it?
Yeah.
Can you go?
And you cannot pay the government taxes on it as well.
Ah, why is that? That's illegal.
No.
Why?
I don't know. It's in the rule book.
Yeah, because that money isn't income. So like when you get a HELOC or you do a cash out refinance, that money goes in your bank account and you can buy sushi with it. You can go on a trip with it. You can buy
more real estate with it.
You can buy more real estate with it. You can buy Corvettes with it. You can buy whatever you want with it. But in the eyes of the government, is that money seen as income?
No.
What is it seen as?
I don't know.
Debt. And debt, my friends, you do not get taxed on. And so the more debt you get into, what happens?
You pay less.
You pay less taxes, right? And so how our currency is structured is actually based on debt. Like we're a debtor nation. We're a debt economy. And so most people are afraid of debt, and rightfully so. Most people use debt improperly.
Consumer debt.
They use it to consume, which is fine. We also use debt to consume. However, the majority of our debt is used as what?
To buy real estate.
To buy real estate, which in turn makes us more money, right? And so we're borrowing debt at 3%, 4%, 5%. You know what? It's funny because as the lending landscape keeps changing, our terms keep on going up, up, and up. The loan that we're getting is going to be almost 6%. Okay. And so most people, do they freak out about that?
Yeah.
Because
Holy smokes.
Because they're used to what, 3%, 4%, 5%. 6% is probably like when we first started investing, that was like normal, like 5.5%, 6%. Like that was like those were good terms. The lending landscape for the last couple of years has been asinine. It's been insane. It's been like literally like the freest money ever. And so as the landscape keeps continuing to change, and they're going to try to curb inflation, again, curb inflation, they're not going to stop it. It's going to continue to go up. So although your price of milk goes up and your price of gas goes up, guess what? The price of your real estate keeps going up too. And so they're trying to use interest rates to be able to control that. Us as investors, is that going to stop us from buying more properties?
Mm-mm.
No, not even a little bit, right? And actually, it's probably going to give us better opportunities because most people who are like, oh, I'm going to wait because now I don't want to pay 6% interest. I'm going to wait till it goes back down. Good freaking luck if it's going back down. And so why does it matter to us? Because at the end of the day, we're making 25, 30, sometimes 50% on our investments. Do you think we really give a crap about it going from 6% to 5% to 4%? I mean, if our deals are tight, maybe, right? But our goal is to figure out how we get such a big spread that does 1% or 2% or 3% even freaking matter. And so that's the type of thinking that you have to go through, especially as the landscape will change. And I promise you it is, and it will continue to change, is think a little bit differently, right? Think about how, when everyone else is running away, how do you dive in? How do you go all in, like push all your chips in, right? And that's really what we're looking forward to. Is like I'm looking forward to get harder and harder for people to get into the game of real estate, because it just like gets me more excited about the people who do want to get into. Like that's our passion, to help people show you the way, because sometimes the belief in yourself is the thing that holds you back from actually doing versus trying. And what's the difference between trying and doing?
Everything.
It is literally everything, right? And so that's our goal, is to show you that like it can be done. Like we're real people. Are we super special?
No.
Well, you are, but I'm not, right? I'm a normal person. Katie is actually very special. And when you get to know people like us, you start to see us and start to realize that we're just normal human beings, and that if we can do it, who else can do it?
Everybody
can do it. And so that's why we want to show you that it's possible. That's why we're sharing these stories with you, because we're like just two knuckleheads sitting on a freaking couch being told about interest rates and balloon payments and amortization rates. And we're so freaking scared of that our rent payment is going to jump from $500 or $600 a month up to $1,600 a month. We're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We almost said freaking no to this opportunity that just made us $230,000 in less than 5 years. Sounds silly out loud, doesn't it? It really does. And so that's why we do this, though. We do this because it's important for you to hear these stories, for you to understand that like we have these same feelings, emotions, these same limiting beliefs that anybody else does. And at the end of the day, our goal is to not only just show you by leading by example, but we want to help you get into deals like this. We want to become your partner. We want you to invest with us. And, because at the end of the day, it's like we look back on this like it'd be cool if someone gave this opportunity when we were first starting, and we've been fortunate now to be in partnerships and be in relationships with people that have literally just taken us further than we could have ever imagined by ourselves. And that's exactly why we do these podcasts. That's why we look for partners to invest with us in real estate deals. Anything we do, we want to do with other people, because we were very much, what do you call those, social hermites or social termites. For a long time we tried to hide from the world, and that was not us. We are not those type of people.
No.
It did not align with our values and who we are. So we want to do more deals with people, and that's why we share these deals with you. Are we bragging when we're showing these deals?
No.
A little bit. Yeah, no, definitely a little bit. But ultimately, we just want to show you that it's possible and it's real, right? Like the checks are real.
This
the
deal
are real.
is like mind blowing. This is luck, a little bit of skill, and a bit of knowledge over 5 years as to why we pulled the trigger to sell it.
But I'm gonna go with that, but also say that it would never happen unless you started it. Like you put it out there, you're saying, I want this thing. And you got told no 6, 7, 8 times. And you're like, okay, what do I get? Like, I'm going to figure this out. And you started telling the world, hey, I want to buy a home for me and my baby girl. And guess what? Someone reached out to you and said, you know what? I have an opportunity for you. And all it was you putting it out there to the universe. It would have never happened if you'd just been like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back. You know what? Luck is going to happen to me. I'm going to figure it out.
I'll wait till the interest rates go down.
I'll wait till the interest rates go down. And so while there's always an element of luck in everything that you do, you will never get lucky if you're not in the game. If you're not taking the shot, if you're not swinging your bat, if you're not out there knocking on doors, if you're not out there making connections with people, it doesn't matter how lucky you think you are. Like it's all about opportunities. It's just a numbers game. 100, you talk to 100 people. Out of those 100 people, at least one of those people can change your life. But you want to talk to 100 people, and that's the thing that you did. That's the thing that we did, is we always put ourselves in those situations. And yes, we did. Like in this situation, we definitely got fortunate, very lucky, and we're very grateful for it as well. We're grateful for everybody in the transaction, everyone who made this whole thing happen.
Very blessed. Very grateful. Yes. Right.
And so that being said, moving this deal forward, now we have a big pile of change. What are we going to do with that money?
Give it away.
Give it away, right? And so don't share that quite yet, right? We'll talk about that maybe next week on this podcast. But yes, we're going to actually give some of this money away, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really fun, and we have some really cool plans for that piece of the equation. We're also going to are we going to use the money the rest of the money that we don't give away? Are we going to just go buy sushi and buy Corvettes?
We're going to make that money make more money.
Yeah, we're going to go buy more real estate, right? And that's really the game, is that even though we don't technically have to go buy more real estate, we're going to, because it makes sense, right? Now we're going to turn that money, that $200,000, and we're going to turn that into probably $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 of cash flow every single month, rather than just $300 a month, right? Yeah.
With this inflation that is coming, it is the most important time, in my opinion, to actually get into cash flowing real estate, because your money grows in real estate through inflation. It does not shrink. Your money does not lose value when it is in real estate. When you have an asset that is holding it, it actually grows with the inflation, instead of, which is exactly what we experienced. We experienced a $240,000 growth in 5 years through inflation. If we would have had that $2,000 sitting in our bank account, how much would have it grown? Like $200 maybe?
Yeah.
So it is the most important time to get into real estate, to ride this growth of inflation and have some fun along the way.
Yeah, you got to get into the game of real estate, whether that's buying a primary home, whether that's buying an investment home. If you already have primary home and investment homes, like figure out how to buy more investment homes. Like take that cash, put it into real estate. If you got it just sitting in the bank, like that's silly. Go put it to work. Do you recommend people putting it into the stock market?
No.
Why?
I don't know anything about the stock market.
Yeah. Really, there's a learning curve. But secondly, like you literally lose control of your money. Like once you put money in the stock market, whether it be in certain things like 401ks or IRAs, they literally like lock your money up and say you can't touch it until you're retired, which apparently is 65 years old. And you have penalties and fees that go with it. And then you have a person who's supposed to be managing your money who literally how they make their money. Do you know how financial planners actually make money? They just take fees from your money. So if you put $100,000 of principal in, the only way they make money is through fees off your principal. That's it. It's crazy, right? When someone invests in real estate, for example, do they have any fees that are associated when they invest in real estate? Let's say that they invest with us, right? And they become either a private money lender or they become an equity partner. Like, do they have any fees? Like, if they put $100,000 in, how much of that money, let's say they're a private money lender, do they get back at the end of their term, their 6-month, 12-month, 2-year term?
$100,000 plus whatever the interest is.
Is there any fees involved?
No.
It's crazy, right? And so, like, it just literally makes sense. So if you have money sitting around, go put it to work. Go build relationships with people who are in real estate who can help you put that money to work, whether it be, again, you buying your primary home, whether you buying your own investment property, or whether you want to partner with people like us who give you freaking not only your whole principal back, but also interest on top of that, right? And you're secured by an asset. So that means that even if, God forbid, the world goes to hell, you still have something secured by that money, right? You still have an asset that people want to live in, that also that you can sell and get some of your money back. If you put that money in the stock market and the stock market goes to hell, what do you have?
Poof.
It literally just disappears. Like, you literally have nothing tangible in the stock market. Like, it literally blows my mind. It's actually crazy to me. So anyway, my rant is over on that. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go cash check today, right? And so if you're following us on the Instagrams, Facebook, maybe it's Instagram, I'm going to show that check, right? I'm going to show that check and I'm posted on there. So go follow us on Instagram, go follow us on Facebook. If you watch us on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe, show everybody what's going on here. We're doing this every single week. Next week, we'll be back here talking about a deal, maybe, right? Maybe we'll bring a deal to you. They can invest with us. But Katie, anything else that you want to tell the good people out there?
Yeah, I just think that it goes back to people. This deal would have never done what it was able to do without everybody involved in the journey. And we're super grateful for every person that has been part of our story throughout the years, and just feel very blessed today.
Yeah. So put it out there. Tell the world what you want. Go put yourselves in the right rooms. Go talk to people. The people have everything that you want. So happy Thursday. My name is Logan Manzanares.
Katie Manzanares.
And we are out.
Bye.
Bye.